Sony's making a Ghost of Tsushima movie from the director of John Wick. Hearing that one of your favorite video games is getting turned into a live-action movie can be a difficult pill to swallow because on the one hand, it might be awesome, but as we've learned time and time again, most video game movies tend to be terrible, like really terrible, so much so I actually made a video a couple of years back trying to answer that very question of why do video game movies always suck so bad. But with that said, sometimes even the bittersweet, mostly bitter memories of being excited to see Assassin's Creed or Ratchet & Clank or Doom or any number of other films can't quash our excitement for a brand new video game movie adaptation in development. And that's exactly how we felt on Thursday morning when Deadline broke the news that Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions are teaming up to bring the samurai action-adventure game Ghost of Tsushima to life in movie form. And they've enlisted John Wick director Chad Stahelski to Chad Stahelm this project. Considering the visceral, bone-crunching combat and character-driven tale of redemption at the core of Ghost of Tsushima, it makes total sense to get a major force behind another series that has visceral, bone-crunching combat and character-driven tales of revenge and redemption. That is incredibly good news for fans of both properties. For those who don't know, Ghost of Tsushima came out in 2020, and it's an open-world action-adventure game developed by Sucker Punch Productions and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Set during the first Mongol invasion of Japan at Tsushima Island in the 13th century, you play as Jin Sakai, one of the last remaining samurai after a deadly battle with the invading forces. Wounded and left for dead, Jin survives the battle and uses a combination of stealth and swordplay to wage guerrilla warfare to reclaim his homeland as the eponymous Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, and you can also pet foxes and compose haiku and take steaming hot baths in a stunning open world that looks and feels like a playable Akira Kurosawa epic. According to Deadline, Ghost of Tsushima has sold more than 6.5 million copies since it debuted in July 2020, and it's the PlayStation 4's fastest-selling first-party original IP debut, moving more than 2.4 million copies worldwide in its first 3 days. The film adaptation will be produced by Chad Stahelski, Alex Young, and Jason Spitz through 8711 Entertainment, Assad Kizilbash and Carter Swan through PlayStation Productions, and the game's developer Sucker Punch Productions will also executive produce, with Peter Kang overseeing the project on behalf of the studio. In a statement to Deadline, Assad Kizilbash, the head of PlayStation Productions, said, "We're excited to be partnering with Chad and 8711 Entertainment to bring their version of Jin's story to the big screen. We love working with creative partners like Chad who have a passion for our games, ensuring we can create rich adaptations that will excite our fans and new audiences." Ghost of Tsushima is the latest addition to PlayStation Productions' ever-expanding slate of video game-inspired projects. In addition to the Tom Holland starring Uncharted movie, which I'm told is coming out in 2022 unless that's an old wives' tale, they're also behind the Last of Us series coming to HBO starring Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and a Twisted Metal TV series based on the venerable car combat game that's coming from the writers of Deadpool. While more recent video game film adaptations like Pokémon Detective Pikachu and Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander have seemingly shaken off the video game movie curse, it's still hard not to brace for impact anytime a project like this gets announced. We've been hurt before. So with that said, we're going to cross our fingers that Chad Stahelski and company can translate the gun fu of John Wick into tactical samurai combat as well. And speaking of John Wick, before he begins on Ghost of Tsushima, Stahelski will film John Wick 4, which was originally going to shoot back-to-back with John Wick 5. But that is no longer the plan, at least according to a report from Collider. John Wick 4 is reportedly coming out on May 27, 2022, but given how the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has turned most of Hollywood's planned release dates upside down, there's a high likelihood of that changing as well. And change is definitely coming to the John Wickiverse, because on Wednesday news broke that longtime John Wick screenwriter Derek Kolstad would not be returning for either of the sequels about Keanu Reeves as a dog-loving assassin going through all 5 stages of grief in an extremely violent fashion. While writer Mike Finch is currently penning the John Wick 4 screenplay, Kolstad has an awfully full dance card as well between Nobody, which is basically John Wick but for Bob Odenkirk, as well as writing a live-action adaptation of the vampire manga Hellsing for Amazon, and High School Dan is very thrilled with that news. So perhaps now that Chad Stahelski won't be pumping out 2 John Wick movies in a row, maybe Ghost of Tsushima can slide in there between the two like a hot katana through butter. Considering Ghost of Tsushima is one of the 6 video games we identified as being ripe for adaptation into another medium in a recent video, we are incredibly excited to see what they have in store for us eventually. In the meantime, folks, tell us, what do you think of this news? Are you excited for the Ghost of Tsushima movie? What do you want to see happen in said movie? And what other video game deserves a movie adaptation and why? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.